Hello guys, third episode of how I designed the Winter Conference. This time is about badges. So, I'm going to explain you how I did these badges. This is attendee, this is staff. I'm going to explain how I did them, how I did the data merge from like the participant spreadsheet to the document, to the inDesign document to make this content automatically. And let's go. Actually, my favorite thing about these badges is actually the material. Compared to last year, this is last year's badge. They use paper for the badge, and all of the badges that I did before will also put paper. But this is plastic, and this is actually amazing because, like, with big events, after a few days of using them, they start getting very, let's say, damaged. And some people, actually last year in 2019, some people had they had to use tape on the badge, and that's not very good. And with this in plastic, after 4 days, the badge is like new. Yeah, it's very light and it's fairly cheap. So it's a good option if you have an event with lots of days when you need a badge. I think this is a good way to go. About the design, I did this in a fairly simple way. The name is the biggest thing here because I think it makes it easier for people to network. And then the Junior Enterprise and the position of the person in that Junior Enterprise. So attendees had light blue, guests had dark blue, and then staff had a green. And actually I didn't talk about this color in the first video, but we used this green when we wanted to make something stand out in the middle of all these blue. And in this case was the staff badges, because we actually wanted them to stand out in the middle of crowds if people need the staff for something. And then in the back they had like the agenda, and each person had a personalized agenda. So actually I brought the wrong example because this person didn't buy the ticket with accommodation, but they had a room number here, and then here they have the restaurants where they are supposed to go and we had everyone divided for some restaurants, so each person would see here to which restaurant they should go. Things that went wrong with this. The first thing that I noticed was the cutting. Actually, my badge was how I wanted. I will explain closer to the camera. So you see here with the staff here, like I wanted these letters to actually be cut like right when the letter begins, like S. So this one is actually perfect, but it didn't happen with the others. For example, here you can still see a margin before the A. Now, this is of course a detail, but it actually made me a little bit disappointed. But then I realized why it was like this. So apparently, like later I understood that with digital printing, the cutting is not always very precise. That will be okay with offset printing, but not with digital printing. And what is offset printing, you ask? Well, digital printing is like the printing that you can do at home, like you have a digital printer at home, or the printers that you use, they are digital. And these printing companies have those kind of printers, but bigger and better because it's their job. And then there is offset printing that uses aluminum plates to transfer the ink to the paper through a series of rubbers throughout the machine, but it produces a higher quality printing. So why didn't I use offset printing if it's better and it's easier to get more precise cutting? Because it has variable data. So if I want to do offset with this, for each page or for each set of 8 pages more or less, the company would have to produce one aluminum plate. So of course it's not cost effective. So we had to go with digital, of course, with this. And as I learned later, it's not always possible to make a very precise cutting with digital printing. So in this case, the design was not appropriate. And about this variable data, like each person having the room number on the badge and the restaurants and like names, etc., that's very cool. But this time, it has a very interesting story behind it, a very stressful story behind it. So when we were asking some printing companies the prices to print these badges, we found a company that said they would print the badges in 1 day. So that was cool for us. We decided we were going to go with that company. So the event started on a Thursday. We were waiting until the weekend before to get some more guest confirmations to make the badges for them. And so we decided to send the badges on Monday so that by Tuesday they would be ready. But I went there on Tuesday. I went to the printing company. I saw the badges. They delivered the badges. I made some cutting adjustments. They were fine. I came back home. But I made a small surprise to Mariana, the project manager, and I wrote like an inside joke on the back of her badge. And when I got home with the badges, I was very excited to see how it was. And then I went to her badge and it wasn't there. I was like, okay, let me see on the next badge. I saw the next badge and it was there. I was like, okay, maybe I made a mistake. I put this inside joke on the wrong badge. It was kind of funny because then the person would think that the joke was for her and like it was weird. But then it got me thinking because I was pretty sure that I didn't make a mistake. So I went to the PDF that I sent to the company, and the PDF was right. Like the joke should have been written on Mariana's badge. So it got me thinking, okay, maybe the other badges are wrong as well. So I went to a random participants and I checked the room number, and the room number was wrong. And then the restaurants were wrong, and like everything was wrong in the printed badges, but not in the PDF. The PDF was fine. And then I was like, okay, if we didn't notice this in the event, like we would be giving badges to participants with wrong room numbers and wrong restaurants. It would have been like chaos. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can fix this. So it was like on Tuesday at night. So I sent an email saying, okay, you made a mistake with the badges. I need the badges corrected for today because they were reading this on Wednesday now. I need the badges for today. Can you please make it? And they said yes, they would print it. So I went to their office. They had the badges ready. I checked them before leaving the store. They were fine. And then I needed to print some other documents like the Excellence Awards, certificates, and some other stuff for the event. But then like the woman in the office, she told me that she couldn't print more things because she was very busy, although they told me on the phone that they could print everything. When I got there, I didn't need to send anything in advance. Anyway, so she told me to go to another office that they had in Brussels. I opened Google Maps, how to go to the other office. Okay, I take the train, let's go. I went to the train station and I asked the guy that worked there, where do I catch this train? And it pointed me, okay, that train is about to leave, go fast. And I went to the train and then I was supposed to leave on the second station. But then like I stopped on the first one, but then the second one never arrived. And the train kept going and going and going. And suddenly I was leaving Brussels on the train. It was the day before the event. I had the badges with me. I was like, oh my god, what is happening? I'm leaving Brussels and on the train. I was texting Mariana, please help me. I'm leaving Brussels. Anyway, I got to the other office. And even though I called them before asking if they could print the documents that I needed to print, when I got there was only one guy that didn't speak English, even though on the phone someone that I talked to spoke English. He didn't speak English, he was very busy, again. And so I was talking with him with Google Translate on my phone. I was like writing, he would read, then he wrote me back, and then I would read like... And I said, okay, but I need these documents for today, because the event would be the next day. And then he said, okay, I can print this, it will be ready only at night. And I said, okay, 9 p.m, can you make it? He said, yes. So I went back home, and I was waiting for the guy to send me a message or an email saying, okay, documents are ready, you can come pick them. And then at this time, when I got home, we were about to have dinner. We, like the team and the staff team, etc. And then I had a pile of badges that were wrong, the first ones, and then the pile of the right badges. And then, and someone else from the staff team started looking into the badges. They were like, oh, they look cool, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly, both piles were mixed. So suddenly it was the day before the event, and we had like 900 badges, all mixed. It was like 8 p.m. or so, and we had 900 badges or 1,000 badges to verify before going to bed. At this point, I couldn't even react. But this is actually very nice because then here the staff team was really proactive and then they very quickly organized themselves and started verifying everything. I didn't even do anything. They organized all the badges by the wrong badges and the right badges. So, how do you do this variable data on InDesign? How do you add automatically these names? If you have 400, 500, 1000 badges, how do you automatically add names to all of them without having to type them manually? Let's do it. So for that, you use InDesign. InDesign is a very nice software for this kind of work. So where do you start? Whatever platform you use for event management, you should be able to download or export a spreadsheet with all your attendees' data. So I created here this dummy spreadsheet, let's say, with some examples. Let's say this was your event with 10 people. You have the ID, the registration ID, their first and last name, their cities, and the room number if you have accommodation for your event. So how do you add this information to the badge? It's very easy. First, you are going to download this as a CSV. You go to File, Download, and then choose CSV. So now you open InDesign, you create a new document, and now you're going to use a master page to do this automatically. So you come here to your master page, you double click, make sure you are on the master page. Let's imagine that this is the badge. So here you will have, let's say, the first name and last name. We will make this bigger. Oop, not so big. Okay, imagine this is your badge, and here you will have the room number. Okay, your badge will look like this. So now, you come here to Window, Utilities, and Data Merge. So click on this option, select Data Source, and choose your spreadsheet. Click OK. And here you will see the columns of your spreadsheet. Okay, so here you can select this first name and just click on first name, and then select last name and click on last name. So the program knows that here it will insert the first name, here it will insert the last name, and here you select this and you click room number. Okay, perfect. So now you can actually preview to see how it will look like. So you click preview, you will see like this name, room number. You can go forward on other pages and see how it is. And now you can see that this happened. So I chose this Portuguese name on purpose because by default the encoding of that CSV file doesn't support certain characters, like the tilde on this case. What you have to do is open the CSV file in your text editor, okay, and then create a new file and just copy the information to the new file. Alright, then save it, and when you save, make sure that you're saving with this encoding, the Unicode UTF-16, because this will include the new special characters, like the tilde and other accents. Alright, and then back to your InDesign file, option here on data merge, select data source again. Okay, you will change the data source and then select the new txt file. Okay, here, alright, and then if you preview, you can see that this will now work. Actually, when I did these badges, I didn't know that, so I had to manually edit all the names that had accents and stuff like that. So now you do. Okay, now your badges look very good. You are going to actually make the document. So if you see here, you still have only one page. You don't have your document, you don't have your badges yet. So click here on options again and create merge document. Here, you don't have to do anything. You can just click OK. No overset text, alright, there was no errors. And this is a new document that the program generated, and now it has all of your badges. Right? These lines here, they are not going to be visible. If you click W, you can see a preview of your badges. They look very nice. So now you just export this document to a PDF and you're good to go to print them. That's it, guys. I hope this is useful. I hope this will help you to create amazing badges for your next event. Even though we don't have events right now, we have remote events, but yeah. Yeah, on the next video, I will talk about the video of the opening ceremony at the Winter Conference. Apparently a lot of people liked it, so I will explain how I did it, so that hopefully you can do something like that on your next event as well. Thank you!